Like, this is not for the CEO to do everything. It's really about sharing with your team, but having that time to get that clarity.
Kristen David, a former trial lawyer who went from working 85 hours a week and taking home way too little money in her law firm, built it up to $1 million plus business that thrived without her. Since selling her law firm business, she now empowers business owners to build profitable businesses that are self managed. Kristen's no nonsense approach and results oriented methodology has allowed her to help more than 1,500 business owners better manage their businesses. She also walks the talk and practices what she preaches. In her first year in her new business, she went from $0 a month to $10,000 in 1 month and to $100,000 in month 12 while growing an incredible team. She runs her virtual business from around the world, living 1/3 of the time in Seattle, Washington, 1/3 in Paris, France, and 1/3 traveling, all thanks to the help of systems. Her number one best-selling book, Uplevel Your Business, Uplevel Your Life, was named as one of the top 21 books to read in 2021 in Forbes magazine. Wow, Kristen, that's quite a bio. So that is amazing.
Thank you, Effie.
Thank you for being on the show today. So tell me, what do you have going on right now that you're proud of? What's in the works?
Well, after having worked with thousands of business owners, and we see that they hit against certain barriers, like as they get to certain levels of growth, especially right around 1 to 1.2 million. There's another one about 1.7 to 2 million, and then it goes 3.5 to 4 million, and then above 5. And we spent some time over the last few months, like really looking at where do business owners stall out, and we really found some interesting findings and created a new signature program called the CEO operating system. And it's because the business grows, but the operating system as a whole has not grown with it. And the owner is the operating system. The owner is the bottleneck. The Every question has to come through them. And so I'm on a quest to help millions of business owners. And we've decided we've got to tackle this issue of helping the CEO learn to really run their business from a CEO mindset and how to let go and how to delegate. And so, because otherwise the business taps out, you can't get there by more hustle and more hustle. The owner has to let go of things and let the team step up. So that's been the newest project. I'm having so much fun with it, and lots of great stuff.
So the CEO mindset, that's a great concept. Can you tell me about what the CEO mindset is before and then after?
So a lot of it has to do with they have a vision for what they want, but they don't fully communicate that. They feel because they're having a hard time figuring out what the how, like how does this need to look and work. They refrain from delegating because they want to be able to delegate with clarity. But part of this is it's the great book by Dan Sullivan, Who Not How, right? Like you've got to find who's that can take the ball and go figure it out. Like it's not for the CEO to figure out every detail and then micromanage the project. We need to find another project manager on the team who's going to think it through and then find other people that could actually do every little thing. Like the project manager isn't the one building the landing page for the lead magnet. The project manager isn't the one that's getting the graphic designs done, right? Fine, they can outsource, they can find somebody else on Upwork or through an organization. So it's really changing out that thought process of quit focusing on how it's going to get done, focus on who can help me get this done. Does that make sense?
It does, but it seems really contrarian to kind of, I went to law school and it was always me, me, me. And it's like, it's got to be on me. And so when you say somebody else, that kind of almost gives me shivers. But that's the way to go at that point.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, more hustle, more answering of questions, more of you, the CEO. There's no more of you to give up, and that's where the firm will start feeling heavier. It's like you just can't feel like you can breathe. You can't get ahead. The business is constantly taking from the owner and not able to start operating. It does in certain areas when they put together like the general systems manual or the admin systems manual because or the financial systems manual because then that system or that department runs smoothly and they finally can breathe. But a lot of times we can get to 1.2 million with just sheer hustle. But then sheer hustle isn't going to help you get to 3 million. Like there's got to be a change, otherwise it breaks. And for those that have made it to 3 and 4 million on sheer hustle, I see them all the time. Kudos to them, but they're exhausted. They can't maintain that. And so again, it's just recognizing sometimes we have to shift how we see our own business and we have to shift back and let people step up, build the systems, take ownership of those systems and those processes. And it's time for the owner to kind of step back a little bit. So it's exciting. We've seen it in place with some firms that have done amazing. I was just on the phone with a client that she went from 1.7 to $3 million in a year.
Wow.
And boy, it's such a from the old way of operating to the new way of operating, it's just a game changer. So again, it goes back to those systems, delegation, the things we intellectually know, but until we install that in our company and make sure it happens, there's a gap. And the CEO is the operating system until we get over that gap.
That's very true. That's very true. Now, if when they get in this program, are they going to see results starting like week one, or is it how does that work?
Yeah, so we broke it down. We spent a ton of time. I mean, we've been working on this for a while, analyzing, looking at where have people seen the most progress. So it's 4 4-hour programs. And it's because in each one we're really breaking down components. Then we'll do a little breakout room so that you can commit with other business owners, really connect, and that's where the decision holds itself together. If, this is why so many business owners, when they're trying to do it themselves, they tell themselves, oh, I'm going to do X, but there's no one there to hold them accountable, right? That's why having a coach or someone else is good. And so we're going to use the power of, okay, I told this person I'm going to do it. They're going to hold me to it. And so that really drives it. And then we give each of the sessions at there every 2 weeks an install plan and instructions for your executive assistant, instructions for like the CEO. Here's what you should be doing in this category: daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly. Everything else, all those administrative and transactional tasks, you should never touch those kinds of things more than twice in a week. Like you got to let it go. You've got to get other people to step up and manage that. As a CEO, our job is to ideate. Our job is to do the visionary work. Where is this company going? Map that out with a mini plan and then hand it off to our team. Like that's our best use as a CEO. And that's where we transition. And we've seen so many business owners go from that hamster wheel to like freedom. So I'm excited. I'm excited the power of a group of being in a breakout with other people that are in the similar circumstance and saying, okay, we're all agreeing we're getting out of here. We're not doing this anymore. So very excited for it. It just launched, in fact, Epi, as a special for all of your viewers. I know you work with some amazing business owners. We have a CEO self-assessment. I think lawyers, especially, many of us are kinesthetic learners. We learn by doing, we learn by seeing stuff. The self-assessment lets you take a little inventory. Where are you getting an A? Where are you maybe failing in some of these areas? And that recognition, that's the first part of saying, okay, this is where we've got to change in 2026 and beyond. And so, very excited, but we'll gift everybody that little self assessment. We'll get you the link, and that can be a great tool for them to just kind of gently get started, a little recognition.
Nice. I want to talk. I definitely want to take it too. I'm a little worried about the results, but I definitely want to take it so that I can make that mind shift because it's a hard mind shift. It's not an easy thing to let go. And so now, can you talk about the results? Like I know you mentioned a little bit. Like what are the results going to be like? The typical results.
Yeah. So on the other side, this is where we recognize, maybe let's use financial department. We're living paycheck to paycheck. We're looking at the bank balance month to month. People have gone through some hard times in the last year. A lot of business owners have, they were ramping up, got a lot of expenses, and their team was only at 60% utilization. For a
Hmm.
law firm, you need to be at 80%. That's the target number, and you should be above it, but at a minimum, it's our job to orchestrate every human on the team is at 80% productivity for their role, for what they need to be doing. So for your associates, your attorneys, your paralegals, they should not be doing scheduling. They should not waste an hour at the copy machine. They should not be doing, back and forth phone calls and trying to get a hold of people. They should get onto a scheduled phone call, do the call, do their notes and their next action steps, the billable stuff, right? There's only 5 things an attorney needs to do. There's only 5 things you need a JD to do. That's it. We get caught up in all the other stuff,
Yeah,
right?
like
Yeah.
yeah.
So, the CEO operating system is really about giving that framework. Some people have never heard that you're supposed to be at 80% utilization. Some people have never heard your legal team, there's only 5 things an associate should do, right? And so once you have that framework, you can better direct and guide and demand, okay, team, this is where you need to get to in the next 6 months or 3 months, right? Now you pin a result and we drive everything to that result. So it's a little bit of like, instead of being every day getting sucked into whatever task of the day, whatever emergency, whatever fire, whatever your inbox throws at you, get out of the inbox. Like, we need to think about, as a CEO, what are the top 3 things my business needs me to do this week? And one of those might be to sit with a team member for an hour and explain the legal workflow that you want, right? And have them document out that system and then go work it up. It might be, here's how I want the financials. I want a cash cushion so we're not stressed every month. So let's chip away at building up that cash cushion so we quit having freak out moments. So again, this is part of, the CEO needs that space, that to think, to plan, to ideate, to say, whoops. That was my charger. Hold on.
Oh, no worries.
Okay, we're good with the charger. So the CEO needs that space to ideate and to think and to help their team step up and to be ready to hand it off. Too often the CEOs are just, they're jumping from meeting to meeting, and there's no time to even breathe, let alone have space to think. So yes, the results, happier CEOs, less stress. They're able to, I mean, more and more say, okay, this is the plan, and have their team help them get there. The team wants to help. And sometimes that means hiring some offshore VAs, hiring a person off Upwork for 6 hours of, a $50 project, $100 project. It's amazing what people can help you get done. And then my favorite is AI and building automations. There's about 3 different AI programs I just adore that I think do a really great job in different ways, kind of like law practice management softwares. They all have a little pros and cons. You got to find the right fit for you. But every week, every session, we're bringing to the table a whole AI cheat sheet. Here are prompts to use. Here are well, automations that you can set up. That let's make sure your people don't need to be more overwhelmed. They just need to be guided in how to use tools that are going to help streamline the builds, streamline what needs to get done. Um, AI can give you a checklist. AI can give you now human vetted. You got to read through the checklist. Does this make sense? But so much we can do these days with technology so that it isn't just more hiring more and more humans. So, anyways, that was a long winded answer to some of the results and some of the things. But as you can tell, I'm
That
pretty excited. We've built out all these systems in businesses, but until they're installed, until they're implemented, until the CEO finally makes that mindset shift, they're just in a manual and nobody uses them. So we want people using them.
Wow, that's amazing. I can picture that serenity of saying, okay, I only have three things I have to do the whole week. Oh my gosh, that would be such calmness. It's like where I want to get to, but I'm like three things. I do three things in an hour, and it's like fix the coffee machine, answer an email, and check on something other. And I know that stuff is not supposed to be stuff I'm doing, but I just get caught up in it sometimes too. And so it would be nice to have
Yeah.
that system to
And
to
it does start with having some key people beside you or a good AI bot that can really take action. I mean, my EA yesterday, she got on and she was like, okay, before we get to any of my questions, what can I take off your plate? Like, and she's like, it doesn't even have to be things I have to do. What can even just redirecting to somebody else? Let's hire somebody. Like, where can we just get things off your plate? Where are things that you, the CEO, don't need to be doing? And I was like, rapid fire. I don't need to be doing this. I don't need to be doing this. I don't need. She's like, okay, I'll figure it out. And like I have faith that she will get the ball rolling, and she might come back to me today and say, hey, I suggest we hire this person, or I already delegated this to this other team member. They said they can do these two, but they all suggested on the third one we do this. Like, she can help direct traffic for me. It doesn't have to be me sitting down and figuring all that out all the time. That's the beauty of it.
nice. That sounds beautiful. Now, when is this? When does this start, and what are the details?
Yeah, so it's just going into to we just opened up to the public. We allowed you I Our VIPs always get early bird access. I always give our regular, like, the clients, the people have come back year and year over year for different little things. They always get VIP access and first dibs. So they've been looking at it, getting signed up, super excited for so many of our clients. And then the full public, we always then allow the full public access and a chance to get involved. Um, February 17th is this cohort. And then it goes every 2 weeks, and there are 4-hour sessions. Like, this is some serious CEO work. This is not a CLE. This is not a get on and do 5 other things. This is, you need to get on and be ready to, like, this is a new framework to utilize for yourself. And it starts session one as a little bit of mastering thyself. I won't lie. It's we got to help the owners put that mirror up and say, okay, I'm part of where we are today, but I'm also part of where we're going to be tomorrow and how it doesn't have to be this way. So session one's a doozy, but it's a good one. It's a lot of stuff. And then every 2 weeks we do a 4-hour session for a total of 4 sessions. We broke it up like that because you need the space. Once your brain mentally goes into that higher level of thinking, the last thing you want to do is, like, whoop back down into the trenches, and then to try to go back up and then back down to the trenches. So we really wanted to give good working space to and there's workbooks every single session to, like, really map out who you're going to delegate to, what's going to happen. We've got cheat sheets for the EAs so they know, hey, in from this session, here's the things that the CEO needs to make sure is off their plate. Help us make sure that happens. And so that way it's easy for the CEO to hand to someone else. Hold me, help me make sure this happens. Like this is what's got to happen this week and next. So we're trying to empower the owners to really don't just let it live up here. It's got to actually get out to the team and we've got to take action. So
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so that was February 17th, right? Okay, and they can sign up online by going to your website and we'll have the details. But what's the name of the exact
it's
program
called the
you're
CEO operating system. And so
CEO?
yes, it'll be on our website, uplevelingyourbusiness.com. We'll drop the link below this podcast. And if anyone ever has any question, I mean, I have open office hour time for the general public to jump on. I've always loved giving back to lawyers. I'm still a lawyer technically, but I ran my own firm for 15 years and I know what it's like to be in the trenches. And I know how much better life is on the other side. Being able to travel, being able to have fun again. There were a lot of years of grinding, and I'm glad those are behind me. But yes, we'll make sure everybody has the link. And listen, not everybody's ready to do that work, and we're only going to run this kind of maybe twice a year. Some people, so Epi, let's talk about people have different learning styles. And that's an important thing as a CEO to know about yourself and to know about your team and about your clients and the people you work with. Some people are very visual learners. I am very visual. So I love to diagram, pop things up on
Mhm.
screen. My AI bot knows that I'm a visual learner. And so it automatically almost everything I ask it, it will then include a diagram of like what this could look like, what this should be, like what the structure might look like so that I can see it because I'm very visual. Some people, like the lawyers, are very kinesthetic learners. They love to do by touching it and doing it. So, how awesome would it have been for us if in our first job someone said, "Cool, here's what a perfect end result looks like. Here's the template. Why don't you go get started?" Like, ta-da! That would have been great, right?
Yes.
Some people are readers and writers, and that goes to the original policies and procedures. The policy, why do we do this? The procedure, here's the written step by step by step. For some people, that 4-page step by step, eyes glaze over. They're like, that's just not their learning style. It's not how information anchors in. And some people are auditory. Some people are more like audio video, like a lot of people grew up on Snapchat and TikToks and YouTube videos. They have to see it and it's got to be moving fast, right? They want to hear it, see it. Okay, it's like that complete package in 1 minute or 2 minute increments. But I got to tell you, if that's their learning style, they could spend 2 days reading through a manual and never really absorb the learning. But if they watch a 2 minute video, they're like, got it. Like they just nailed it. So we have to recognize, our people, we are different styles, our people around us are different styles. And so the way when we're delegating or someone's doing something, we have to recognize, oh, that's their learning style. That might not, and sometimes we have to teach our team, can you give it to me in a diagram? Can you show me a picture what you're thinking? And so my team does it to me. They're like, hey, Kristen, here's an idea I had. Here's what it would look like mapped out. And I'm like, that's beautiful. Go for it. Like, I don't even need to see more. I'm like, I'm sold. But if they do this long, drawn out explanation to me on a Zoom call, I'm like, what are you even talking about? So we all have to be more productive. We have to learn each other's styles and we have to document in, our procedure, our systems manual, the different methods. Here it is written out. Here's a short video. Here's a diagram. And that's how people of all different styles will learn fast and become productive and profitable fast. So those, if listeners are to take that one key element away right there about the different learning styles, that is a huge just huge profit boost, and a lot less frustration for everybody on the team.
Well, I definitely want those results. I know that. So if I know and that this is the way to get it, then that's the way to go. Yeah, because that's quick. That's amazing. It's amazing. Okay. Anything else you want to say about this before I would like to have a little bit of kind of change the gears and kind
Yeah,
of pick
let's
your
change
brain?
the gears. Let's have a little
Okay.
fun. Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, Um, okay. I just have a few questions for you, and then kind of just to pick your brain. Okay, so what's a useful but underrated metric that you like to watch in business? Like,
Ooh, I have a bunch, but so I'm going to go with two. One is utilization because that matters all the way across your team. Having them do a little time tracking or looking at their billable hours if you're a billable hour type of firm, that's what's going to get us to help us recognize, is the team member at like 60%, 50%, or are they really thriving at like 80, 85%? So knowing the utilization rate for each member of the team, and this goes for admin assistants, this goes for intake people, like how much of their time is being spent exactly where they're supposed to be spending their time on their job description stuff, versus how much of their time is wasted on little stuff that they shouldn't be doing that isn't really helping that position. So that's a key metric that most people aren't looking at. And I will tell you, the firms that do use it, game changer. It really allows people to thrive and feel really productive every single day. Um, the other one is it goes with the five roles of profitability, which and the fifth one is speed of collection. We want to be aiming towards 95% collectability. So if you're estate planning, it's like instant getting 95 like within that first month. So it might be half up front, half in 3 weeks when we finish drafting. Like making sure you get your money. The more you spend time chasing after your money, the less profitable you are. And so that one metric, knowing your collectability rate, is huge. So if you're a billable hour firm with a trust account, right, you want to bill, and 95% of that, all those bills, immediately money goes from trust to your operating, right? If it is an invoice situation, we want to make sure it's like within 10 days. Don't wait 30 days for your money. Really look at, can we collect 95% of the work we performed within a 2 week or 4 week period? Like that's huge for the profitability of the firm. So those would be my two favorite metrics I feel like people don't look at enough.
nice, nice. I like both of them. I've definitely got to learn how to even check the utilization for like somebody who's not billable, and then the to get 95% within 2 weeks. That would be great too. I can think of some people, just the effort to try to get paid, try to collect on it. It's just it's an endeavor. It's okay, okay. All right. So next question. Your favorite tech tool under $100 that somebody could go out and get.
Chat GPT Pro for 20 bucks a month would probably be one of my first ones. More old fashioned though, I would say is either like Calendly or Acuity or one of the schedulers. And here's why. I mean, it'll run about 30 bucks a month. You can set up about 12 or 15 different calendar links and you can block them on your calendar. So if you want to have 15-minute virtual coffees or 20-minute virtual coffees to catch up with people, great. You set those up from on Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon. If you want to have time slots to go meet up with people for happy hour or for lunches or something like that, that could be on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. If you wanted to have time for vendors, um, vendors only have one spot on my calendar. On Tuesday afternoons, I have two 30-minute slots. I sometimes have vendors booked out 5, 6 weeks to talk to me. Now, most of the time my team like gets through it and whatever, and they deal with it. But if it's somebody that really wants to speak with me, I don't let vendors hijack my regular scheduling link and fill up with a bunch of them trying to sell me on stuff all week long. Like there's an hour every week they can that I've allotted. That's the limit. Um Obviously getting, potential VIP referrals. If somebody refers someone, they get a direct link to my calendar for 30 minutes, not through a normal sales channel. But my EA protects that. It's Monday afternoons and Wednesday afternoons. Like that's very clear. Um, so it so the calendar links kind of tie in with your time blocking, right? You got to be really protective of your time and like where your energy is going and be very intentional. Do I really need to get on with this person? The reason I get on with vendors is really because other great people I know are like, "Oh, Kristen, you've got to talk to this person. They're amazing. They're the CEO of such and such company." So it's a little more networking than it is like hard sale to me. So those are the slots I leave, that people get to there. But and the final one I use a lot is a reconnect link. When a business owner, maybe I used to coach them 4 or 5 years ago, or they don't need to go through the whole sales cycle, get all the emails. We just want to reconnect, see how they're doing. They want some help with something. Um, uh, we use that 30-minute link slot, and so that one tool saves my EA probably 5 hours a week, 6 hours a week of back and forths. So anytime you can use a calendar link to streamline that, these days the AI bots can even manage that and go back and forth and nudge people. Hey, just a reminder, Kristen wanted to meet with you. Please make sure you use this link and let's get you scheduled. Neither my EA nor I need to do that anymore to nudge people. So again, this is where I like to build the tech stack so it all integrates. But a calendaring scheduling link process is such a game changer.
Nice. I love that. I've got calendar links, but I never thought about using them like that, especially with like the reconnect for old clients, makes them feel a little special. I love that idea. That's gonna be put at the top of my somebody else's list for me as soon as we can assign it to them to do. Okay, I love that. I
Awesome.
love that. Thank you. Now tell me about a favorite business or self-improvement book that you really like.
Your Time by Dan Martell.
Uh,
It is probably one of the greatest books. Listen, chapters 3 through 6 are fabulous. They really talks about like who do you need to have, he really breaks down a ladder. Like if you're having friction and feeling frustrated with X, this is probably who you need to hire. And he talks about the most common, you start with an executive assistant, somebody to help shield you from all the questions, take things off your plate, redirect things to other people on the team that can help, right? The EA is a key one. And he spends a whole chapter talking about how you quickly train them up, what the questions are that they're going to do. I loved it so much because it mirrors so much of our executive assistant training program that we have and that we've used for years. And so I was reading the book my first time and I was like, yay! But it's true. So many of these top CEOs, Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. I mean, all these books talk about you need an executive assistant. And so that's probably one of my best. Buy Back Your Time is one of the best books about really helping reframe where if you want to develop yourself and you want to get ahead, like it's an easy read, just so good. So good.
I love that book. In fact, you recommended that to me, and I kind of thought I knew it, and then it just took it to so much more than what I knew, and so it was amazing. I love that too. Okay.
You know, I re-listen to it the first of every year. I make a list of like 10 books I want to re-listen to. Now, sometimes I skip the first two chapters, which is often like their story of how they got there and all this stuff. And I sometimes just jump right into like the meat of a book. But I've re-listened to four books already in the new year. And we're all evolving. And so sometimes we're at a different place in our life and than when we were when we first read the book. And so when we listen to it again or read it again, it's like, oh, certain parts just hit home in such a different way. But we you need to hear it again sometimes. So yes, I'm a big fan of there are definitely a handful of books you want to reread.
Nice, nice, nice. So tell me now, what's a contrarian or an evolving opinion you hold in your field that might be a little different than other people?
I believe that coaches are paid to push. I'm kind of an ass kicker. I'm kind of a results, let's do this. There's definitely like the International Coaching Federation, like they really have a mentality of don't push too hard. You're here to help guide the person, let them tease it out themselves, let them figure it out themselves. Um, I mean, I in my mind, I think of like the psychiatrist couch where you have to like, and what do you think about that? What
Right.
do you think you should do next? And then what? And that is not my style. I am like, listen, I'm going to tell you what I've seen work. I'm going to, share what I think would work for you. And then we're going to come together and fine tune like, what are the action steps? Like, what does this really look like for you, client? And I'm a little more aggressive. I push, so do a bunch of my coaches. They're like, we got to get this done. Like, we don't have time to spend 40 hours on this. We got 2 hours, we got 90 minutes. Like, let's dig in. I know sometimes people are like, woof, that was a lot. And it feels in that moment like, okay, what's going on? But then it settles in over the next couple of days and they're able to start absorbing and saying, yeah, okay, that does feel right. Or no, that doesn't feel right. And they're able to start navigating for themselves which direction. But I believe that if I hadn't spent some time telling them what could be possible and having confidence in them that it can happen, they would never be able to take those next couple of days to navigate, is that the right fit for them or not? So that's a little some people don't think that's the appropriate way to coach. They think it really needs to be let the human figure it out themselves. And I'm like, let's get this done. Let's get some results. Let's get there faster. And that's just my personality. And I've hired coaches that have that same personality. So yeah, that would probably be the thing that comes to mind. Does that make sense?
It does, and I love that about you too because it lets you go right to the meat of what we need to get done. And so, and you're not when you've done it, you actually have told me that too. You're not doing it in a harsh way. You're not doing, but you're doing it in a, hey, this is a blind spot that you have that I'm telling you I can see, but you can't see, and it's like okay, and it's just like, oh yeah, you're right. Boom, let's do it, let's fix it, and let's move on. And I think that's kind of how you've helped the people go from like here to here so fast instead of like let's all think about it, wrong answer, but we're going to say it's a nice answer. No, we just I love it that it's like yes, it's very insightful and helpful. It's actually truly helpful as opposed to you make me feel good. I'm not there to be made feel good, although
Yeah.
I'm there
Yeah.
to learn from what you see. And so I
So
love
it's,
that.
most of our clients are at up level in your business are between 2 and 8 million. And we do bring in a number of people between 500 and 1.5 million. And it's usually the ones that are like, I've hit a limit. I don't know what's stopping me. I need help getting through this. And once we help them solve that, that really helps them. Next thing you know, they're at 1.4 and 1.7 and then 2 million. And so many of our firms that started at 1 million are now at like 6, 7 million. And it's amazing. And then there's others that they just want to get to about 1.2, 1.4. We dial in that profitability and that's it. They just want to stay right there and be living a great life, traveling more, the team knows what they're doing, they're helping lots of clients. Like that is their sweet spot, and that's great. So it's not everybody has to grow, but it is rewarding to definitely see some people that had that vision and were able to kind of like leapfrog so fast. So, yeah, lots of good stuff.
I love that, and I want to be there. I want to experience that growth. That's nice. That's nice. Okay. Do you want to give a last question? Is do you want to give a shout out or a hurrah to somebody who anybody on your team who helps you or who makes things possible, or even not on your team?
Well, my whole team is great. As you know, Marcella has been with me for a very long time. She was my first EA, so I just want to brag about her for a moment. This was before you came along, Effie, and they, Marcella got started, and she was just a whippersnapper. Just she would start doing some, hey, I'm going to turn this into a social media post. Hey, this win from a client, I'm going to turn this into a little reel, and so pretty soon my marketing team, I mean, she got trained up as an EA, was whizzing through stuff. And next thing you know, my marketing team stole her from me. And so she went over and worked in the marketing on the marketing team for another year and a half and did pretty much every job. She's a whiz at putting together lead magnets and PDFs and presentations. And then she started, like, we shifted her to running her own department. She now runs like 3 departments in my business. We, she now works directly with our company, and uh she's had 2 children, and she's raising them, and so she doesn't work full time. And so I think part of the story I wanted to share is that evolution of when you have great people, they stay by your side and they become such a part of a key player in your business. Marcella's my utility player. If I need something fast, she knows how to get it done because she's worked so many different positions. But I also respect her and the fact that she's growing a young family and that she needs time to do things and have time off. And so I think there's a duality of respect that has to come when you're working, especially with people offshore. Take a moment to understand who they are and what's going on in their life, and that way you can positively work together, and they can help you even more and you can help them. And so yes, so Marcella is definitely one of our go-to players that has been with me a long time. Of course, everybody on my team is phenomenal, from the coaches to my EA. Just so many, great people that I have the pleasure of working with. But that's my little shout out. And again, I mean, Epi, you've got I don't know, a dozen plus of your staff people, your team members that work with my clients. I was just on with a client, or we'll just use her first name, Desiree, who was just raving about the person that I think she got this attorney from you like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And just did such a great job for her. It really opened her eyes to how much could come off of her plate. And this attorney from the Philippines just was able to really transform her life, her thinking, her ability to get things done. So she was raving about you to me on the phone the other day about looking back, that was one of the biggest game changers for her and her business. It was really awesome.
Nice. That's nice to hear her being successful. That's great. Aw, thank you, thank you. Okay, so now, if there's one key takeaway for today, what is that key takeaway for everyone today?
As a CEO, take the time to plan, but then you've got to activate. You've got to install that plan. You got to get it in motion. Because if it's just in your head or just in a business plan you haven't shared with anybody, like that doesn't do the team any good. Like you've got to activate that and let them know, here's what I want to do, and get them to help you on this journey. Like this is not for the CEO to do everything. It's really about sharing with your team, but having that time to get that clarity. And sometimes that helps to like whether you work with a coach or whether you like to sit and write it all out, like know your learning style. What do you need help with? But take that time to plan out the vision and then recognize other people can help you get there faster. So.
Nice, nice, nice. And can you give me the dates again?
Oh, our upcoming CEO's operating system. The program kicks off. The first session is on February 17th, and then it will go every 2 weeks. If you're listening to this podcast after that time frame, we'll probably be doing it again second half of the year, but always just reach out. Let us know where you're at. Maybe a one-on-one coaching session in the meantime might kickstart you, get you into action, or a systems package to solve a particular pain point in the interim. We're happy to help. I just I'm on a mission to help millions of business owners thrive. And I know how much it sucked to be in those trenches day after day, working 12-hour days, 14-hour days. It is so much better on the other side. So I want that for all those business owners out there.
Nice, nice. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for coming on today. So, everybody, this is the great, the Kristen David. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Epi.